welcome to the SVG-TV News for Thursday, September 22nd. I'm Khalil Keita with the details. Public servants across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are expected to enjoy more disposable income as at 2023, thanks to salary increases and a reduction in personal income taxes. Addressing a press conference this morning, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, outlined that the government, in agreement with the labor unions, will raise salaries by 7% over 3 years, with public servants receiving 2.5% in 2023, 2% in 2024, and 2.5% in 2025. He gave a breakdown as to how certain categories of workers will benefit.
If you're in grade K in the public service, you are a clerk typist, a teacher one, a laboratory assistant, a senior guard at the Coast Guard, a senior traffic warden. That's grade K. If you're in grade K, currently, your salary is $20,712. With the 2.5% increase next year, you're going to go up to $21,229. But wait, there's more. You are now not taxed because you are below the threshold, the $22,000 threshold. So this year, that grade K person is spending $700 in income tax. Next year, because the threshold has raised, they're not paying that $700 in income tax. So their salary reduction, their salary increase is not 2.5%, but it'll actually be 3% when you take out the taxes that they're saving. Let's move up the chain to grade H. Maybe you're a teacher 3, or you're a chief guard, you're a staff nurse. Your grade H salary is $38,832 right now. All right. With the there's a 2.5% increase that you will get. And also now, your tax bill is going to be reduced by over $1,000. So whereas this year your take-home pay as a grade K is $34,600, next year it will be $36,100. So your salary, if you're in grade K, is actually going up 4.5%, not 2.5%.
He also noted that the top rate for personal income taxes is being reduced across the board for everyone as at 2023 from 30 to 28%, stressing that there will also be a simultaneous reduction in corporate taxes. At the same time, the threshold for payment of taxes is also being increased from $20,000 to $22,000. According to the finance minister, many persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines will now not be paying income tax, as many make below the $18,000 per year.
Once again, just like in 2018, we've decided in the Ministry of Finance to twin a wage increase with a tax reduction, and that tax reduction is 2% down in this point and $2,000 up. And we think that in light of the challenges that we're facing, the reduction is, this tax reduction is fair. It's a return to our path of reducing our tax rate to the middle 20s. Prior to the 2018 budget, we hadn't reduced taxes since 2009, so there'd been a 9-year stretch when we hadn't been able to reduce taxes. Of course, you had the global financial crisis coming around at that time. But now, in 2018 and again in 2022, 4 years apart, we're reducing the taxes twice. And we're increasing the salaries again.
Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, the Honorable Dr. Godwin Friday, has bemoaned the state of education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and has called for major improvements. In an address to the nation last evening, broadcast on SVG-TV, Dr. Friday described the reopening of schools in September as chaotic and said it is unacceptable. He called on the Minister of Education to get his act together.
Students at prep school were sent back home because the building was still being painted. Grammar school could not reopen because the regular school building was still not ready, and their temporary plywood school at Andersville was being used by another school. Elsewhere, there were delays for a day or two, and even for an entire week. Official confusion now appears to be the norm. This could have been avoided with proper planning. This is not a time for unsubstantiated government statements about being ready. The Minister of Education should get his act together and show leadership and competence. Our children and teachers deserve better.
Dr. Friday said a good education is the best investment one can give to their children, and it is a sound investment in the country's future. However, he said the high cost of school uniforms and registration fees, etc., is creating unnecessary hardship on parents.
Parents should look to the new school year with hope, happy that their children are finally returning to the classroom. They should not have to worry unnecessarily about the high cost of textbooks, shoes, and school uniforms, and the ever-increasing registration fees. Students preparing for CSEC and CAPE exams should only focus on what might be on their exam papers and not on how they would pay for their subjects. For those hoping to attend university, they need to know that there is an affordable way to do so, that they won't have to mortgage the family home and risk everyone's welfare to pay for their further education.
Dr. Friday says government must encourage an environment of learning and make education truly free to all students, all the way up to university level.
Registration fees for secondary schools are too much. At a time when families are facing pressures across the board, we believe registration fees should be eliminated. Further, CSEC and CAPE subjects must be paid by the states. The state, parents, and students should not have to go begging friends and strangers for money to pay for their subjects. Having admitted all students to secondary school and encouraged them along the way, it makes good sense to complete the process by paying for their exams, their final exams for their subjects. For too many families, the joy of securing a place at university is dampened by the fear of expensive student loans. Our student loan rates are among the highest in the region. We have a plan to cut those rates in half to 4.5%.
Meantime, the opposition leader is calling for teachers who were forced to leave the system due to the government's vaccination policy to be reinstated with full benefits. Noting that teachers play a vital role in the society by inspiring and helping children to develop, Dr. Friday noted that in spite of that, many of them are excluded from the classroom.
This misguided and hard-headed approach by the government has left schools without sufficient teachers to start the year. Over 200 teachers remain out of work. Yet, the government says there are not enough teachers and they must hire relief teachers. Why hire inexperienced people to act as teachers when there are over 200 experienced, competent teachers ready to return to work to teach our children? This makes no sense. The government's stubborn response has been to tell teachers they must reapply to get back their jobs. This is without any assurance of actually getting back their jobs and pensions and benefits. The teachers rightly see this as adding insult to injury. The solution is to reinstate the teachers now and welcome them back to the classroom.
President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, is calling for the less than favorable teaching and learning environment at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Grammar School to be rectified in the shortest possible time. Robinson told SVG-TV News that he visited the school this morning and was greeted by some health hazards, making it unsafe for the students, teachers, and other occupants of the school. He noted that there is evidence of bat droppings in some classrooms as well as termite infestation. He is calling on the relevant authorities to ensure that the school is safe and healthy.
The yard is still filled with a lot of debris, a lot of dirt, and that is unsafe for the students and the teachers and all the occupants of the school. There is also issues related to the internet and electricity in some areas of the building. There is a need to pay attention to the teachers' washrooms. You cannot have one door in which both male and female have to enter to access just two washroom facilities for teachers. Especially this is a large school, you have a large staff, and the authorities need to have this matter rectified urgently. There is still evidence of bat droppings, and this is a health hazard and it needs to be rectified. You cannot have a facility now being refurbished with so many outstanding issues. I'm still seeing termites infested in one of the rooms close to the new facility that they have just erected. You're still seeing exposed steel at one end, and the building needs to be properly fenced.
The grammar school is one of 9 schools that were scheduled to be repaired under the $13.7 million school rehabilitation program. Last year, the grammar school students were housed at the E.T. Joshua tarmac while the school was scheduled to undergo repairs. A week following the reopening of schools for the 2022 school year, the students were sent back to their school to give another school the opportunity to be repaired. However, Robinson noted that the repairs are not yet completed and the authorities should have gotten all the issues resolved before the students returned.
We are also seeing water settling on the corridors. So this is something that we want the authorities to pay attention to. Pay attention to the labs, the computer labs, make sure they have internet, and also ensure that there is the electricity issues that need to be solved. I know it is work in progress, but it makes no sense you rush into a building and you have so many issues to work on. So I am calling on the relevant authorities to have all these matters resolved soonest. Still work going on, because as I said, the yard is in a bad state. When you pile up sand and the water comes and that is eroding, they just recently completed classrooms for Farm 1. There's an issue there. It would be good if the media could go in and have a look at it. There are toilets that are still not functioning properly or overflushing. And as I said, the bat droppings is a health hazard.
Finish?
Well, I made some inquiries and I was told that it's work in progress.
Persons occupying the new housing development at Orange Hill are said to be comfortable and adjusting well in their new homes. Weeks after the handing over of the houses to the residents, Minister Orlando Brewster and Area Representative Montgomery Daniel visited the residents on Tuesday. Speaking with the API yesterday, the housing minister said the residents gave positive feedback on their living conditions. He noted that they are comfortable and are asking for more houses to be built for the other affected Sandy Bay residents who are yet to receive houses. 27 families from the red zone who were displaced in the aftermath of the April 2021 volcanic eruptions received brand new houses in Orange Hill on September 1st.
Folks are asking for more. Well, when are we doing more homes? Because some of them they still have family that's supposed to be relocated as well, and they're asking, how soon. But they are very happy. They're very happy with the outcome, and like I said, at when we handed over the homes, we didn't just give them a small area of land. They have adequate space around that they can further develop those homes. So it was, when we do things, we have to do it in a proper and an efficient and an effective manner, because we have to look at the longevity of the homes, and we discussed and we highlighted that these homes can withstand up to Category 4 hurricane. We have to look at future build out for the children and so on, and these are things that we had to take into bear in mind going forward as we build these homes. The privacy issue, as I mentioned before, we had to take all these in mind, but overwhelmingly, I can say hands down, folks are pretty happy. They have settled in. It's like the area existed for quite some time.
Meanwhile, Acting Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for North Windward, the Honorable Montgomery Daniel, is asking the new homeowners at Orange Hill to remove any items they may need from their former homes. Speaking on NBC Radio's face-to-face program yesterday, the area representative urged them to do so urgently, as government will be moving in to demolish those houses in the next few weeks.
We want to make sure that we work with you to make your life better. You have now gotten a new home, and from all reports, the families are well pleased. But where your old home used to be, you will not be able to resettle there. And so the government will go in and demolish all of those buildings, and to make the area much better, much active, than to leave the old remnants, as you pass by. So I'm happy that we've been able to find new settlement for these persons, and in due course we would of the 68 houses that we are supposed to be building, in due course we will also be starting the other 41 houses.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, is said to have been in contact with government officials in Taiwan to offer support and solidarity following a series of earthquakes that rocked that country last weekend. Finance Minister, the Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, made the revelation at a press conference held today.
I wish to indicate to the public that the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, contacted officials in the government, representing the government and people of Taiwan, to express to the Taiwanese government and people the profound sadness and deep solidarity with the people of Taiwan as they also deal with the aftermath of a devastating series of earthquakes.
Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, the Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, has responded to a call from President of the Public Service Union, Elroy Boucher, that consideration be given to granting bonuses to workers on the lower end of the salary scale who would not benefit from a reduction in personal income taxes. Responding to a question this morning at a press conference at Cabinet Room, Minister Gonsalves said Boucher's call did not form part of the proposal during their recent negotiations, neither did it form part of the government's proposal.
I've relayed this to the Prime Minister, and I'm doing a costing of that. But there is a danger to tossing off these things that are not part of a negotiation after a negotiation has concluded. This did not form a part of our negotiations, and I am not going to, having asked Mr. Boucher very explicitly, and asked Mr. Robinson and asking everybody else, that we try to refrain from negotiations over the airwaves. That if Mr. Boucher and the unions have additional proposals, ours is an open door, and we can have those conversations, we can discuss what they cost. But I'm not going to do this sort of parting shot to on my way out the door. Well, why don't give you next money? And then I say no, or you say yes or something. It doesn't lend to a good negotiating environment, and it doesn't lend itself to the building of trust going forward with the government and the unions. I'm sure that Mr. Boucher's heart is in the right place when he made the proposal. But I would think, as I said earlier, I'm into institutions and processes. There's a process by which we do these things, and I'm not closing the door on anything suggested because I don't know what it costs yet. But I think that Mr. Boucher should be aware of the way in which, if he has a proposal to make, the way in which that proposal should be made, should have been made, and I'm not going to negotiate in public.
Speaking during a press conference held by the unions on Tuesday to announce the wage increase agreement, the PSU president suggested that the government gives workers who make less than $22,000 a year a bonus. Months after residents of Layou came together to protest against the construction of a jetty at Jackson Bay in the central Leeward constituency, residents can now look forward to a new development in the area. Speaking with the API yesterday, Minister of National Mobilization and Area Representative, the Honorable Orlando Brewster, announced that they are on the verge of rolling out the Jackson Bay Development Project. Brewster said that on Tuesday he met with the Ministry of Economic Planning, and there will be public consultations in the middle of October to appraise the community of what will take place. He noted that this project will be very beneficial to Layou and surrounding communities. He also noted that it will be beneficial for the tourism sector.
Started the work, and we're going to see phase 1 being rolled out this year for the Jackson Bay Development Project.
Jackson Bay Development Project.
Yes, the Jackson Bay Development Project. And I would speak more on this because I want to incorporate as much as I can.
You have some public consultations coming up.
Yes, I have some public consultations coming up. So I want to meet with the fisher folks, those who are integrally involved with Jackson Bay. And going forward, we'd have to set up. I am leaving state next week, so I am hoping that by the middle of October, sometime around there, we would have a consultation with the folks in Layou on the Jackson Bay development. Mm-hmm. And you know, with Sandals coming on next door, Marriott in Mount Twin, we have Black Sands in Petershope, and I heard some troubling stories, but those can be debunked. You know, those things can be debunked.
Minister Brewster further outlined what residents can expect to gain from this project.
There are lots of things happening in terms of the development of Jackson Bay. We are going to incorporate the fisher folks, because one of the problems the fisher folks had for years, they didn't have a proper place to store their nets and so on and so forth. There's an excellent spa facility that's going to come out down there in Jackson Bay. There's a bridge that would go over the river. You know, I'm just giving you some hints, but it would not all be done this year. We have to do it in phases, but we are going to do the middle section of Jackson Bay. But before we start any work, we must have a community consult and make sure that the folks are aware as to what is going to happen in Jackson soon after, as we have the consultation. And I want the folks of Layou to hear me clearly on this, because when this thing happened, the whole uproar with Jackson Bay, I said with no water in my mouth, the outcome of this will be in the best interest of the people in Layou.
The Mustique Charitable Trust, in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Open Campus in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, officially handed over bursaries to 3 Open Campus students today. Speaking at the ceremony, which was held at the conference room of the Open Campus, Administration Director of the Mustique Charitable Trust, Dulary Malcolm, said that this year's bursary marks the 14th award that the organization has given out to students at UWI.
At 14 years, during which time we have 22 successfully graduating from their programs and acquiring their degree, respectively. Currently, continuing, we have 14 candidates, and today we have 3 new members joining the Mustique Charitable Trust UWI Open Campus family. And thus far, we've had 10 of those candidates getting first-class degrees. So this speaks for itself on this program. So, as Mr. Daniel says, it is a substantial bursary program. And I know I sat in the interview with each of you, and I know how appreciative you are. I know that you do satisfy the criteria that we're looking for, and it was an objective selection for each of you to be sitting here today.
Malcolm encouraged the award recipients to continue striving for excellence and to do their best.
To advise you that this is not going to be an easy process. Each of you is working, right? And you have family, each of you have family responsibility, correct? So you are each real people. You're not, you're not living the perfect life. And what I would like to say to you, that it is going to be even more so challenging for each of you during this process. We saw in each of your eyes the dedication and the ambition and the dream to further your studies at a tertiary level. And each of you have your own personal reason, which you shared with us. What I would like to advise you is that the UWI Open Campus St. Vincent, they do have a mentorship program for our awardees. You will be introduced to that program, and I want to advise you to use it whenever you need it.
Along with the bursary, each recipient was presented with a laptop. This year's awardees are Sylvain Harry, doing a BSc in Human Resources Management, Kelroy Richardson, doing a BSc in Youth Development Work, and Yannick Samuel, also doing a BSc in Human Resources Management.